checked in. It is 32 minutes past the hour of 4. We are broadcasting live here from Nelson Mandela Bay. And today we've got Dr. Teneal Fredericks with us in studio, and we'll be checking in with Dr. Teneal Fredericks. But before we get there, we'll just give you an opportunity, Teneal, just to send a shout out to whoever you want to greet. And I see we're live on Facebook as well, so feel free to greet everybody, and welcome in studio, Teneal.
Thank you for having me, Sherwin. So first of all, I'd like to send a shout out to my family and friends at Radiant Pageants, and also to my people that are live with me on Facebook. So hi guys. And yeah, just everyone that's tuning in right now.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, it's such a privilege to have you in studio today. We know that you're a busy young lady up and down between all different provinces, running around with Radiant Pageants. But yeah, before we get there, let's talk a little bit about Teneal Fredericks. Tell us a little about yourself.
Sure. You know, whenever someone asks me that, I always like shoot the blank, because I don't know how to describe myself. I'm literally still in the process of finding who I am as a young individual, and I'm just making my mark. So as I'm going along, I'm just learning new things about myself, because from me, it was like, for so many years, I've given so much of myself away, and now it's finding those little pieces and reinventing myself. So when people ask me to tell them about myself, I don't know what to say, because I'm still in the process of finding Teneal Fredericks.
Awesome. So much growth and development taking place there. Yeah, so you're from Port Elizabeth, born and bred?
Yes, I am from Salsonival, all the way from the northern areas.
Okay,
proud.
Lovely. So we have northern areas in the house again today. Okay, so yeah, let's talk a little bit about Radiant Pageants and how it came about, and some of the victories, some of the challenges. Just take us through that journey of Radiant Pageants.
I would be lying if I said that it was smooth sailing, because it wasn't. I think the journey started off as a bittersweet moment for me after being body shamed by a previous pageant winner. It was so difficult for me. So that's why I decided to develop this platform, just so that I could give a voice to other girls and women that have been through the exact same. So Radiant Pageants was born out of pain, and it turned into something that was greater than I ever thought it would be. And just having young individuals and young women say, oh, wow, we actually have a voice, and we actually have this thing, and people are actually recognizing us. Because they're the first people that actually allows teen moms and transgender and Muslim ladies to compete as one, and not categorizing them. Because I feel like, why should women be placed in boxes? They deserve to be free, and they deserve to just be known, and they deserve to have as many opportunities as possible, regardless of whether they have children or not.
Wow, wow, wow. That's fantastic. Something different, something out of the box.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. And that's so inspiring. So tell us, where did the name Radiant Pageants come about, or how did it come about?
Well, I was like, what am I looking for in my brand? I wanted it to shine. So what shines? The sun shines and the diamond shines.
Wow.
But there's something that I wanted. I just thought about it, and I went on Google, and I was like, whenever they mention someone as like this radiant person, and
wow.
I was like, when they announced Miss South Africa, our radiant queen, I was like, there's that name. It spoke to me, and I was like, it was like a light bulb moment for me, and I was like, Radiant Pageants, there we go.
Awesome.
I'm taking it.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so we know that this whole year Radiant Pageants has been doing different things, you know, going around in communities and doing some good work there as well. Where did these girls come from, and how did they enter the competition, and what has been their highs and lows?
Well, we had over 3,000 entries
Wow.
last year. I promise you, I went through each entry myself, and our top 100 were chosen based on their individuality, their stories from all around South Africa. Most of our contestants came out of Gauteng, and then our second most was KZN, and then the Eastern Cape also came. PE actually came out very strong,
Wow.
hey?
Wow.
So we have 12 contenders from PE Port Elizabeth that are in our top 60 right now, and our pageant week is coming up. So the girls were chosen based on a lot of factors. We were looking for someone with a radiant heart. We were looking for someone that was a people's person, someone that not only looks good on paper, but is actually doing good out there. So that's it, the ladies. So yeah, we just wanted someone that was really genuine, and someone that would really capture the hearts of our people.
Wow, wow. And so you narrowed that down now to the top?
60.
Okay. So you said that this week is coming up now, and we're nearing closer to the grand finale. And so, how's that journey been? Has it been easy choosing the top
Not
60?
at all. Not at all. I can tell you there were tears. There were moments where we had disagreements with finalists because we knew and we're branching out. So it's obviously people expect us to be the same as other pageants, which we weren't. And then as a woman in business, you get undermined a lot, especially if you're a young woman.
Yes.
So I had this issue where suppliers undermined me because I was young, and I was like, oh, guys, no. I had this one incident where this guy wanted me to give him 16,000 Rand, and he didn't want to tell me what he was going to do for my 16,000 Rand. I was like, and he tells me that I don't have an idea what I'm doing. And I'm like, what? I worked like when I was 10 years old, I worked in decor, so you can't be telling me that I don't know what I'm talking about. And it's just small things like that. I'm not trying to bring anyone down. I'm just sharing my experience, you know?
Sure.
So it was just something that I learned along the way, you know. People really undermine you, especially if you're a young person. So I try and, you know, keep my voice out there.
And how did you overcome this?
I think prayer was very important because there are nights where I do cry myself to sleep, guys. My pillow knows these things. Yeah. So there are nights where I really feel like it gets too much. And I think the only sanity for me is just praying and speaking to my grandmother. Trust me.
That's awesome. I see you mentioned prayer, and I think that's a very important part of everybody's life, but it's also an important part of your life. And how has that been? How has that been part of your journey? You know, your relationship with God and that kind of thing. How's that been part of your journey?
I'm not a perfectionist, and I'm not like this godly person, but I do have this conversation and relationship with God. You know, it's not only in the bad times, but in the good times, because I've seen what God can do what God has done for my life. He's taken me out of the gutter, I promise you, and he's literally taken me out of a space that I never thought I'd get out of. Like, I moved out when I was 18 years old with nowhere to go, with 600 Rand in my bank account, and I was moving to another city. I don't have mommy and daddy money. And for him to just take me and shape me and transform this little girl that had so much baggage and so much pain and make her this wonderful girl and woman that I am today is just phenomenal. God is real. Yeah.
And he's there.
He's
there.
There are times where I would feel like God isn't there for me, or there were times that I feel like, oh, God has deserted me. But then something would happen and a miracle would happen. Something, because they say when God opens doors, no man can close it.
Yes.
And it always says in Philippians 4 verse 13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
Yes.
I find my strength in him.
Wow. That's so amazing. I just needed to pause there for a moment. That's so amazing. That's amazing. Okay, now let's get into Radiant Pageants, where it is right now.
We're literally 2 weeks away of announcing our first official winner. Our winner walks away with 100,000 Rand.
Wow.
And plus, we have like 80 sponsors on board right now, and they are sponsoring goods worth 80,000 Rand.
Wow.
So our top 3 winners walks away with goods worth 80,000 Rand plus the cash prizes, which is phenomenal, because considering that at the beginning we were like a little smaller now, and I could say that COVID was a blessing in disguise in some way, because now we have a lot of businesses latching onto us and trusting us with their brand. That's so important. So Radiant Pageants is going.
Yes, all the way. Let's go back to that conversation of COVID. It obviously had an effect on the pageant and everything leading up to where you are right now. How did you find your strength during that time, and what was it that you done done differently then during that time to overcome the challenges of lockdown and level 5, 4, 3, 2?
I can promise you, I haven't been in lockdown because I've been working endlessly. So I had permits to fly through South Africa during lockdown, and it was so unfortunate because I wanted to really have that time to reflect. But it also helped me in a way, especially when we had that time period we weren't working for like 2 weeks, and I could reflect like, oh, I have been busy with so many things, and I've been pushing Radiant Pageants aside. So I took that and was like, okay, now it's time to do the interviews and things like that with COVID regulations in place. So I flew to each province, met some of the girls that would be able to, and done video Zoom calls as well. Got to know the girls a little better, seeing who was fit enough to be in our organization. But I feel like it was very hard, especially some of our finalists losing family members, and that was horrible. But we do try and support our finalists wherever we can,
Yeah.
whether it's financially or physically or emotionally, we are always there, like 24/7. But
Yeah.
we've made a rule: no weekends, no messages, no text, unless it's very important. So
Okay.
yeah.
Awesome. And then, yeah, I mentioned earlier on about the humanitarian work, the community work that was done in the various provinces. Can you touch a little bit on those things that was done?
Well, we had this project called Ukusinda, which means surviving. So we distributed like homeless kits for survival kits, basically. So it contained like toiletries and food packages. So we reached over like 3,000 people across South
Wow.
Africa. And then we also had our girls' individual projects that reached also thousands of people, because each girl had their own project. And under Radiant Pageants as well. So them bringing forward ideas and going to do distributing food, packages, all those, and even their time. That is
Wow.
so important. And just for them to be there with our sash on makes us so proud, because at the end of the day, we're actually really making a difference. And all our proceeds that we're going to receive for our ticket monies is definitely going towards our homeless shelters. Even though we're not allowed to sell a lot of tickets, 250 tickets, so we are keeping that in a minimum.
Wow, wow, wow! That's amazing. That's amazing. That's such an inspirational story. So we can pick up that Radiant Pageants is not your normal runway show,
Not at all.
as we all know it. So what's the grand finale going to be like? Give us
Can I
some-
run
just
you
a
through?
little bit of tips.
Well, we have our red carpet walk with all our media people there. We'll be broadcasting live with a few radio stations. There's a few media houses in the house. And then as you walk through past the red carpet, you'll be welcomed with your welcome drink. Our VIPs will be having all their food and drinks included. And you will be socializing. You'll be treated to a night of bliss. It's going to be magical because we have raindrops from the ceiling. And people are going to be shocked at the show that we have planned for them. The girls too, though.
Okay, awesome. And then obviously there might be a few more tickets available. How do people get hold of these tickets?
Well, there are a few tickets still available at CompuTickets, so they can
Okay.
click on our website at radiantpageants.co.za, and then there's a big word that says buy ticket. You click on it and you purchase a ticket, and there you go. Or go to your nearest ShopRite.
Okay, there you have it to our listeners out there. Radiant Pageants Grand Finale will take place on...
The 19th of December at Newtown Music Factory.
Okay, so that's 19th of December, Newtown Music Factory in
Johannesburg.
And it will also be streamed live. Is the tickets on Quicket available?
Oh no, that's we're doing YouTube streaming, so it will be free for everyone to watch, as
Wow.
well as it will be on SABC. So
Okay, lovely, lovely. So we're going places here, hey? We're going places. SABC in the house. Okay, so for our listeners, you can follow Teneal Fredericks on a personal page, but you can also follow Radiant Pageants on Instagram. They are present on Facebook and Twitter as well, I believe.
I won't do your Twitter. Miss Radio South Africa is moving to Twitter. I promise you, we're getting there.
Yeah. Okay,
Okay.
so all the events leading up to the grand finale will be broadcast via the social media platforms, and I will encourage our listeners out there to actually go and like, share, and follow Radiant Pageants on all social media platforms. Okay, so wow, that's been so inspirational, Teneal. That's
Thank
been
you,
so
Sharon.
great. But before we let you go, let's just give you a moment. There's so many young people out there, because at your age you've achieved so much, and there has been the victories and there has also been the challenges. And yeah, to our young people out there, or to the listeners out there, they might find something inspirational about this interview. So we want you just to share that, just something special, something unique about yourself that can inspire them, or just a message of inspiration or encouragement to our listeners out there. Over to you then.
Okay, so I always say that don't live your life based on other people's opinion, because people don't pay your bills. I've always lived by that. We depend so much on social media. Take time away from social media, especially when you want to get into business as well. And when you are into business, don't allow people to take advantage of you, and stop borrowing money to friends, guys. It doesn't work out. But most importantly, just do you. Be yourself. Love yourself. That is so important, because if you love yourself so much, then it allows another person to love you, and you don't need to depend on someone else to love you. You understand? So that's one thing I live by. Learn to love yourself and just do you. Do things that make you happy. And because at the end of the day, when you're sacrificing your happiness for someone else, you aren't content with yourself. And when you get older, now you want to start finding yourself. No, now is the time. Now is your time. Allow your voice to be heard and speak when something isn't sitting well with you. And yeah, that's the best advice I can give them.
Awesome. I hope our listeners have screen munched that. Yeah, thank you so much, Teneal. It's been amazing having you here in studio today. It's been such a great opportunity just to have a small insight into your journey as well as into the journey of Radiant Pageants. And we wish you all the success and all the blessings that will follow, especially in the next few weeks leading up to the actual grand
the
finale.
stress, the grey hairs.
So we'll be there to watch. And Teneal has also mentioned earlier on that our listeners can also check the pageant out via YouTube on the 19th
of
of
December
December at
4 p.m.
4 p.m. It will be live via the Radiant Pageants Facebook page. So go and do that. Yeah, so that's the end of our interview. Thank you so much for coming in once again.
Thank you
and
for
stay
having
blessed.
me. You too.
Yeah, to our listeners out there.